Hey guys, long time no see. Haven't gone live in a while. See if anybody is going to log in here. Okay. Okay, cool. We got about 17 minutes until SmackDown comes up. I don't know. I just figured I want to share. Anybody who doesn't know, I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm a big junkie. So I kind of just want to share my insights on the whole situation. I know it's been a few days, but it's been the talk of the town as of late. So I'll just get right into it. I want to see if any of the insights that maybe I share or other people have shared will be true or be will manifest once John Cena debuts. Okay, so my first thoughts were obviously I don't think anybody would have bet their house on a John Cena heel turn. It was there's speculation, obviously. There's obviously a possibility because us as wrestling fans, especially if we're really obsessed with it, we are we want we want to act like it turns on us for as long as I can remember, and it's pretty crazy. So I'll start off with my insight that I agree on, like with podcasts I listen to, obviously, right? So I knew somebody had to turn heel. I thought it was going to be Cody, or something. Even like say if like John Cena believed Cody, and then Cody like what I thought was maybe okay once Cody tells "F you" to The Rock, maybe he daps up John Cena and gives him a big hug, and then he actually tricks John Cena and turns on him. So that's what I thought. I don't know what anybody else thought. Obviously, there's a possibility that John Cena could have turned, but because of his reputation and because this is his last ride, nobody would have bet the house on it. Nobody would have put all of their money on the table for it, right? So yeah, it's just one of those things where I think even if it happened, we are. Hey Brian, how's it going? Thanks for hopping on. Even if we speculated, there's no way we could have seen it. And even if when we saw it, we were just like so, whoa, it was crazy. It was crazy. Now, I am happy for John, and there's a lot of, I think, I think this he's doing this for him, honestly, because what backlash is he gonna, what backlash is he gonna get? Like he doesn't need the money. Hi guys, everybody hopping on. Um, so it's actually genius that he's doing this for him. He's probably wanted to turn heel for a long time, but for business sake, uh, the company and him would have lost a lot of money. But now that's not a factor anymore, right? And um, a lot of the majority insight is like, what are they going to do? Hey Jane, hey Sifat, thanks for hopping on. Talking about John Cena. Hey bro, um, how are they going to make up the money with all the John merchandise and all that stuff? Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm just looking at the chat here. So a lot of people were thinking, well, how are they going to make up the money, right? He's going to lose a lot of money because they got to revamp the his merchandise and all that stuff. So one thing that I did realize is like, well, and I'm also piggybacking on somebody that I saw on the comments was, John Cena's been around for like over 20 plus years. So the kids who loved him from when they were younger, they're now excited that he's turned heel, and the money that they're probably going to lose from all the kids and the women are going to be made up for the most part by the dudes who wanted him to turn heel. So financially and the revenue, I think is going to be fine, if not better, right? So I thought that was a really good point. Also, obviously, there's a lot of dynamics now. You can see. I don't know who else is going to be matched up with as he goes along, but he's going to be matched up with CM Punk probably down the line, and whatever the case may be. The one thing, the one insight that I do want to share that I piggyback on that I heard on a previous podcast is you can't have two baby faces facing each other. prime example, anybody who's been fans of like WWE from back in the day or WCW, when it's like DDP and Goldberg and Sting, two baby faces. Yes, they still had great matches, but the crowd was divided. Who are you going to cheer for at WrestleMania, John Cena or Cody Rhodes? What's going to happen, and this is, I think, what happened with Hogan and Rock. Canada and Toronto loved Hogan so much that, like, they turned on Rock, and then they made Hogan a babyface. So even the crowd wants a good guy and a bad guy, right? Especially if this is the John Cena's last run, like they're gonna want him to win and break the record against Cody. So what happens with Cody is that they might turn on him. He's gonna move on with the WWE. What do you do with Cody Rhodes after he gets beaten by John Cena? Fans are gonna be like, you just lost to the guy who retired. Like, how can we take you seriously as champion? They always think about long-term booking. They always think about the long run, right? Normally what happens is who's ever moving on with their careers, they have to win the match. Think Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. Think The Rock versus Stone Cold, right? The Rock had to win, obviously, to break the streak against Stone Cold, but Stone Cold was no longer going to wrestle anymore, right? So you have to leave the business better than when you left it, or better than when you arrived, and that's just how the business has worked, right? So how do you deal with Cody after the long term? Because he's like the ultimate baby faces, guys. If you don't know already, baby faces are actually hard to come by. That's why they milk the crap out of Goldberg, because you can't, those baby faces don't grow on trees. It's actually easier to make heels, to have heels, right? That's why most people start off as heels and then they become baby faces later on in the long term, because people appreciate them being heels, right? So think Edge, he was a heel for a long time. Think Triple H, he was a heel for a long time. They get their appreciation in the back end. They become baby faces in the back end. Roman Reigns became a babyface. That's probably the prime example about an organic babyface, right? So Cody has been doing a magnificent job at staying babyface, and people are rooting for him in that sense, right? So that you got to keep that in mind. So, I mean, where does this measure up in terms of like the best heel turns of all time? Obviously, I got to put Hogan at Bash at the Beach up there. I'm biased to Stone Cold Steve Austin, so his heel turn was very monumental. And then this is right up there, and then fill in the gaps with whoever on that fourth one. If you were to make a Mount Rushmore of heel turns, right? This was just so, it's such a pleasant surprise seeing John Cena turn heel for his last run, because he's really doing this for himself, his character and their actual person. He's doing this for himself now, which is, man, you gave your heart and soul to the business for 20 plus years. If you really want this for yourself, yeah, I know you're going to disappoint a bunch of kids, make a wish, all that stuff, but man, it doesn't negate everything he's done up to that point. I think he was even doing Make a Wish before the heel turn, which is crazy. So, yeah, it's great here. Let's see what my notes here. We got about 8 minutes until SmackDown. Anybody's excited? Comment in the thing how you guys feel about John Cena. Give this live a thumbs up if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching. The thing with John Cena too, it wasn't that fact that he was heel back then, especially when The Rock came back during their feud. It was, he was so polarizing. So that's why that matchup worked. They were technically both baby faces. So that's probably one of the few exceptions to the rule. They were both baby faces at that time, but The Rock had more of an approval rating with the audience across the board, versus John Cena only had the backing of the mothers as well as the kids, right? So that feud actually worked because John Cena was more polarizing than The Rock. The Rock can make fun and roast the crowd, and they'll still cheer for him. John Cena will try to say babyface stuff, and he'll still get boos. That's how polarizing he was. That's why that matchup worked. But now, even then, like with them teaming up, that's like, man. I also think about Robert Downey Jr. turning heel, right? From his heroic finish with Iron Man to now he's coming back as Doctor Doom. I mean, I think heels are all the rage now, and the best way for you to take heels seriously is you have to get the biggest dog, you have to get the best baby face, you have to get the biggest baby face, and turn him heel. It's genius, magnifique by everybody involved there. I think just to keep it on. Okay, you know what? I'll wrap it up here. I'll just do some final cliff notes. That's basically the notes that I wanted to personally give. But yeah, just to summarize, John Cena turns heel. SmackDown's in about 6 minutes. He's probably going to debut his heel persona, his merchandise, his gear. No more Fruity Pebbles um, merchandise and colors and all that stuff. He's probably going to go black or whatever the case may be. Probably less headbands, less material on them. Maybe actual pants. I don't know if he's going to do the jorts still, but yeah, I'm very excited. We got about 5 minutes. Anybody who give a like, guys. Give a like if you are waiting for SmackDown, and yeah, you're just as excited as I am, and we'll kind of go from there. I absolutely love this for John selfishly, because if you give your heart and soul to the business for X amount of time, it's you can be selfish. You're allowed to be selfish. So maybe short term he's disappointed a lot of his kids fans, but the his fans from back in the day who are now adults and grown men, they absolutely love it. They can't wait to finally buy the merchandise that they're going to sell, because they probably feel silly walking around grown men like with Fruity Pebble colors, right? So now we get to wear like the sleek outfits and the sleek merchandise. It's yeah, I'm addicted to the WWE right now, and I'm addicted to the storyline. I'm sure you guys are too. Again, thank you guys so much for watching the live. I missed you guys. It's been a while. It's been a while doing this live thing. So again, if you haven't already, give a like, give a thumbs up to this video, just to push this content in the algorithm. And then if you haven't already, subscribe and leave a comment on what you think your thoughts are with SmackDown coming up, or what the storyline is going to unfold later on. So yeah, it's going to be good. I actually think before I lied to you guys. I actually think now this actually opens the door for John Cena to actually break the record for Ric Flair's record for 17, because now he's able to cheat. He's able to do low blows. He's able to do chair shots. He's able to do all that stuff. For the longest time, he had to fight clean for the most part, right? So that's a great benefit to him, and now it makes sense. Think about think about if he had to beat Cody clean. How does that look for Cody? You just lost to a guy who's just on his retirement tour, and you lost to him clean, right? At least now this protects Cody and his power and his capabilities. That there's probably going to be interference. There's probably going to be some sort of disqualification. There's probably going to be some shady stuff going around that will prevent him from winning or keeping the title. And then maybe down the line he's able to redeem himself. So yeah, I'll probably I might do another live after, like my reaction after the after seeing the SmackDown or seeing the debut, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you guys so much again. Give a thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys. Happy Friday. Let's see John Cena's heel turn. It is gonna be epic.